How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Seeker of the Unknown. I'm glad that you're able to join me today for episode 42. We're going to be talking about extraterrestrials and multidimensional beings. Now, I know it seems like, all right, well, we've talked about this before. We're going to get into this again. Yes, it is, like I said, it is one of the subjects that I love talking about. It fascinates me, especially with everything that is going on in the world right now. And also, Elko, Ellie, I just want to give a big shout out to you. Thank you so much for this morning's episode on the radio station. I enjoyed myself to the fullest. It was one of the coolest things ever. And I appreciate you for having me on. I felt so honored and blessed to be able to be a part of that. Thank you so much. So just wanted to give a big shout out to you for having me on this morning. A fellow seeker and a fellow researcher into the unknown, as we like to say. And yeah, I just want to say thank you to everybody else out there that has supported the channel, that has supported the podcast. Thank you guys so much. Let me turn this music off. It's probably overpowering. All right. Can you hear me? All right, I think you can. All right. One of the things I wanted to do today was get into a little bit of what we know or what we think we know about aliens, extraterrestrials, life from other planets, life that has visited this planet. And some of the things that have come forth from recent, not just discoveries, but from actual testimony of whistleblowers who have come forward and stated that yes, these beings that we know of as extraterrestrials have been visiting the Earth, and we have the anatomy of these piloted crafts by these pilots that have come from other places in our possession, and we've had them for some time. Which to me, if you don't know or you haven't been in the loop, if you've probably been under a rock somewhere, is a really big deal. Is a really big deal, especially for those of us who have been researching and digging deep into this this theory for a while, especially the people that have been doing it a lot longer than I have that have influenced me. We are now starting to see a age of acknowledgement of the things that they have been talking about for decades now. Another person that I would like to say thanks to for giving me a big insight into this world of research is Dr. Stephen Greer, Billy Carson, Matthew LaCroix, Greg Braden, David Wilcox, a lot of the guys that I've watched growing up on Gaia. Also, listening to late night radio host shows growing up that would host a lot of things like this on their shows really made it possible for people to be able to discuss this without any repercussions of feeling like they were alone. And before we get into this, I'm going to go ahead and start with the intro to the video. Stay tuned. I'll be right back. All right. Well, welcome back to Secret the Unknown. Thank you for everybody who's joining right now. We are streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and X. If you haven't joined us before, please make sure that you subscribe to the channels if you can on all platforms. If not, pick whichever one that you are going to be streaming this podcast live on, and go ahead and feel free to subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and get ready and fasten to your seat belts because these are rabbit holes that we are going to be going down that I have been fascinated about, as well as other people and enthusiasts who have been fascinated and very excited to be able to bring this knowledge or this information out to the public and just share in what we feel is the hidden truths that have not been told to the public. But as I stated earlier, these are things that are going to be coming to pass. And hopefully, we are going to be seeing a lot more disclosure information coming out in the future months, in the future years. This are exciting times that we are seeing, folks, and I cannot wait to see what else is going to be coming out in the future. Give me a second here. I'm gonna log on here so that way I can communicate with everybody and say hi. Um, Hopefully this is gonna work. All my stuff was dead. It shut down. I have my phone plugged in right now that I'm using because it's dying. I don't know what's going on with it. It seems like everything that I've been using today is dying. Like my tablet was at 85% and I was on it and using it and it just died. Um, my phone, same thing, started using it and now it's at 28% and I just had it on the charger this whole time waiting. Um yes, no, I do not want to do that. Okay, well, let me see here. Hold on. All right, we are back. Um let's see. Save. All right, we're in. So if you are joining the channel, I am going to be getting on YouTube and on Facebook so that way I can talk to everybody. And if you have questions or you want to come onto the podcast and talk, shoot me a link. Actually, I will actually post it if I can. Because like I said, I copy. It is not allowing me to talk over uh it's not allowing me to do it over the phone for whatever reason. Hold on. Yeah, it's just saying that it's unavailable and I'm not able to use chat at this time. I don't know. That's just weird. I've never seen it do that. I've always had the a computer, so obviously I don't have it now, but we'll make do with what we got. All right. So I'm going to be on Facebook real quick. I'm going to talk to everybody on here. If you guys want to say something, I will go ahead and post in the comments. And here we go. Go live. Okay. Close. It seems like there is a lot of disturbance going on with everything. Like I cannot even log into I cannot even log into my Facebook. It's not allowing me to go live. for whatever reason. Okay, I don't want to do that. Get off of there. Um, um, yeah, this is really weird. Something went wrong. We cannot fix it at this time. Please refresh your page. Wow. It seems like, I mean, like I said, I've been doing this for over 2 years and it never ceases to amaze me. Um, the level of BS that happens when you are doing things like this with having discussions about certain topics. Um, yeah, it is it is not even allowing me to go live on my tablet. Why? What is going on? Says the event is live. Yes. Okay. We are sorry. We're having a problem with your page you try to reach. We hope to fix it soon. Wow. Are you guys able to see everything that I'm on or doing right now? Because I cannot. Let me see if I can go to YouTube. Maybe YouTube will have a better chance. No, thank you. All right. Sweet. All right. Cool. YouTube is working. I guess it's a thing with Facebook, apparently. So let me turn this down. I'll go ahead and get on the chat on YouTube. If you guys want to talk, we'll be able to get on there and discuss some things. Uh, but let's get into it. Extraterrestrials and multidimensional beings. What are your thoughts when it comes to the topic of extraterrestrials? Um, what are your thoughts and your perceptions of what these things or what these beings are? Um, and now that we know that there is more life out in the universe, how does that change your thought process? I mean, has it shifted it? Do you still think the same way that you have done? Um, is it something that has opened up the spectrum of uh, the possibilities of these life forms and these inhabited planets and these universes that are out there? And as I said in the comments on the page, a galactic federation that has been watching us for eons and even guiding us to where we need to be as far as giving us data, giving us technology, giving us information, having great resets that have wiped out civilizations and restarted life on this planet as we know it. We see these things throughout history, especially with the great books such as the Bible, the Adra Hashish of the ancient Sumerian tablets, discussing the creation story, if you will, that we have seen narrated throughout different cultures and the Bhagavad Gita, the Vedas, about humanity and how we came about from being created from these beings who came from the stars, who descended on the earth and gave life to a being that was created in their likeness. Um, and as I said before in past episodes, we see a lot of similarities between ancient civilizations texts and what we know of now in religious texts of the creation stories and humanity's involvement with these beings that have helped to guide and shape us throughout humanity. And is it a coincidence that we put a religious label on it, to be able to feel either comfortable with what we are being told because the thought of something scaring us, of knowing that there's these beings that are more intelligent and are more capable of destroying this planet in a blink's notice because of their advanced technological abilities. I mean, they're flying in vehicles across the universe, for Christ's sake. They are able to multi, pass through multiple dimensions, time warps, wormholes. Um, are they actually future travelers or travelers from the future coming back to warn humanity about our evolution, guiding us to help us stay away from the things that are devastating in our path? That is another theory that has been brought up by a lot of people, that in future years that human civilization has evolved to the point where we are able to technologically live in harmony, and we are at the point where our technology has given rise to peace on this earth, and we are coming back to the past through time travel to help guide humanity and stop things that have um, happened in our past or happen currently that we are doing, that has kind of driven humanity away from the course that is meant to be on. These are all theories, and what it, you guys give me a drop in the comments and let me know what you guys' thoughts are. How do you guys feel about this? What are your thoughts and your ideas of what you believe these beings or these things to be? Um, I know a lot of people with religious ideas tend to think that they are angels or demons. A lot of spiritual people that believe things, in one aspect, say that they are entities that are a part of the universe from these other galaxies that have guided and created humanity to be something that we are trying to get back on that elevation, that level of resonance where we are supposed to be at. And we are star seeds, in other words, that we are planted from these other civilizations on this earth as a test tube subjects, as if you will. Um, I'm not saying that this is true. All I'm saying is I'm throwing these theories out to see where you guys believe and what are your thoughts on what this stuff could be. What do you believe it to be? Is it something that you believe that is of a godly manner? Is it something that you believe that is a part of the universe that we are barely starting to get snippets into, of under the understanding that we are not alone, that there are other beings that are out there, that have been out there, and we are just one small little blue marble in this vast ocean of the universe that has a collective federation of civilizations that span galaxies. Um, what we can look back at is through history. We see throughout history, through eyewitness accounts of people talking about seeing these spacecrafts that have, they were like cigar shapes in the sky. I believe it was in Germany. There's a whole newspaper article that was written about these crafts with these lights. It was like, it was like a Fourth of July type thing where these crafts were all in the sky, and they were shining these lights all over the place, and people were witnessing them for like 3 or 5 days. This was going on, and there's actual artist depictions of these ships in the skies in Europe at this time. We are also witness to seeing a lot of things in Renaissance pictures. Leonardo da Vinci. We see a lot of the depictions of the Madonna with her child in the background. You see this man looking up into the sky, and there's this UFO, and it's like he's looking at this ship in the picture, and it's like the artist is, got this depiction of this holy scene of this, the mother and her holy infant child, and in the background we have these aliens in this spaceship or this UFO in the background with this guy looking up, like acknowledging that this thing is there. And it's like sort of in the foreground of the picture. And it makes you think, like, what were they trying to tell us? Like, are they trying to like acknowledge and tell us, hey, there's more to what is being told to us? Um, because at that time, you got to remember a lot of things that were being brought out during the Renaissance time that Leonardo, Michelangelo, Da Vinci, and the likes were trying to portray in their artwork was considered heresy. So they hid a lot of symbolism in their artwork to be able to have future generations of like minded people. Even in his notebooks, in his diaries, he talks about a lot of enigmatic things that were very questionable at the time. That if he was to be sought out because he had friends in high places, I think that he escaped a lot of the limelight of the persecution of people who were going against the church at that time. Um, and we see that throughout history. Um, so I think that going back into, the historical nature of it, we see a lot of the depictions through ancient cultures, the Sumerians. You have these stories through the Mayans in South America and the Mexico area. In Asia, you see the depictions of these beings that they even have statues of them in certain areas depicting these beings looking like lizard people. And there are cave drawings of these beings with these that looks like helmets with these big eyes on them, big black eyes, and some of them larger or skinnier and larger than what a normal person would look like or what a human at the time, because some of the pictures actually have the depictions of the humans around these beings in these cave drawings. And it makes you think, it makes you question what else has been hidden from humankind? What else has been hidden from society throughout history that has not been divulged to people throughout history and been released to the point where we are knowledgeable of the true nature, the true facts of what and who these beings really are. So, hello, hello, and welcome. Um, just got on the YouTube channel. If you guys want to, if you're on there and you want to respond back, feel free to. I just put a hello, welcome in the comments. Um, let me see about getting on X. Let me see if I can do that, if that's even going to work. All right. Good Lord. Saying about getting it on there right now. I'm signing into X. So if you're on X and you're watching, I'm going to have that open as well. And we'll be able to talk on there and discuss the podcast as we're going along. And if you want to comment, please feel free to. Like I said, this is what it's all about: is us conversating and having these topics of discussion to be able to discuss with each other what we're thinking and what we're feeling. We are living in a great day and age now where um, we are able to have these discussions and be able to freely talk to each other without having that um, sense of persecution. I mean, a lot of people are going to be naysayers. A lot of people are going to say, man, you're going off the deep end here, bro. What is going on? Get back to reality. All right. Um, welcome and thank you for tuning in. Sorry. Uh, all right, so I got on X, commented on X. Let me see what else we got. TikTok. Let's get on there and welcome everybody. I guess it's not letting me do that. You have to install the app. All right. Get the full app experiments. Okay, open it up. All right, let me go back. It's installing that. I thought I already had it. Apparently not. As I said, um, oh, I don't care about this guy cutting hair. All right, let's go to the profile. It should already be in, but I guess not. So let's log in and then I'll say hello to everybody who's out there. And also drop a like in the comments or a message in the comments. Let me know where you guys are signing in from. So that way I can know where you guys are conversing um, with me on continue with Google is come on. Hopefully it works and then we'll be good to go. Like I said, I'm on my phone. If I have to switch up and use the tablet to be able to talk and do the show and be able to conversate with everybody, then I guess I'll go ahead and do that. But yeah, let me know where you guys are calling in or watching the podcast from. I've got a lot of people that are um, tuning in from South America. I've got a couple of people tuning in from Egypt. Uh, I've got some people that are tuning in from Europe. Thank you guys. And thank you guys for uh, being a part of this channel and helping to get the word out. It's asking me, let's start on TikTok. I don't want to do all this. What is going on? Good Lord. Continue. All right. So, like I said, we see extraterrestrials and we think of beings from another planet. We think of beings from um, other galaxies, possibly. We see things about um, I guess that didn't work because now it's got me on something else, and that's not what I want to do. Let me see. We think of these things typically as being these, uh, you know, these creatures that are here, that are doing these experiments on us. I mean, you think of War of the Worlds, the Thing, back in the day in the 50s, how that must have psyched everybody out. And you have these sci-fi movies that depict these off the wall looking creatures that come to Earth and manipulate humankind to either take over the planet, take over the human race, or subjugate us to experiments to do DNA splicing or to um, alter our DNA in a way where they can evolve using us as human beings to be able to survive on this planet. Um, hold on. Big um, 03. And it is that knowledge. I mean, even, the day after tomorrow, or not the day after tomorrow, but you have, um, what is it? Um, the Will Smith movie, man. Um, the one where he is um, the aliens, Independence Day. I'm like brain dead right now, so sorry. Where you have these invading aliens that are coming to the Earth, and are checkmating themselves all around the globe to destroy populations in order to um, all right, hopefully I'm seeing if I can get on TikTok. Yes, we're on TikTok. How are you doing? Welcome everybody. How's it going? If you're just tuning in to the podcast, um, thank you guys for being here on TikTok. And if you guys haven't joined the channel or subscribed to the channel, please do. It helps support getting all this information out there, and as well as going on the channels and finding the past um, streams. Um, you can always go back and look at them, and you can always go back and rewatch the episodes that I've already posted. So please feel free to do so and share it on your guys' own platforms. And as I said, just get the word out there, and let us uh, let us talk about this stuff. Let's get this stuff out there and get it in the open, because I mean, the more we talk about it, the more people are going to be able to start looking into it and thinking about a lot of this stuff, besides just you know not hearing it and getting the word out, and it just falling on deaf ears. All right. So as I said, you have these movies that depict these um, aliens, if you will, as these beings who are coming here to pretty much take over the world. And you see this, whole blood, guts, and gore thing where, it's destroying the populations. They're coming in here, lasers beaming, and, they're just decimating populations. Um, is that in fact the case? Is this what we are headed towards, or is this what they are intending? A lot of people like Dr. Stephen Greer are actually to the notion that if these extraterrestrials wanted to decimate the Earth, what is stopping them from doing it? We know that they have the capabilities to shut down uh, nuclear warheads. We've seen videos of it through these releases of whistleblower testimonies. We know that it is possible for them to shut down power grids or to alter power grids in order to cloak themselves or to manipulate time and space around them. What would stop them from actually wanting to harm the planet, to harm human civilizations if they really wanted to? Well, that is what people like Dr. Stephen Greer have, tried to put out there with his SETI 5 um, group and the, SETI 5 project, CE5 project. If you haven't looked that up, look it up. I am a part of that group. Um, what he is trying to say is that we as human beings need to make contact with these entities and these extraterrestrial beings, these multidimensional beings, and be able to converse with them and let them know that humankind is trying to elevate themselves to a resonancy and a frequency of understanding and being able to be open to them, that not all humankind is wanting death and destruction and chaos and wants it to be a doom and gloom type of scenario. I was watching a documentary about the NASA project and the moon landing and Dr. Werner von Braun. And one of the workers that was working with him, let me look at my notes, Dr. Carol Rosen. Okay, she worked with Dr. Werner von Braun for a few years before he died. And he stated to her that what we know and what we are doing with the NASA program is not what is being given to the public. Dr. Werner von Braun told her there are going to be stages to a government disinformation uh, uh, agenda that is going to lead the public into the thought process that these beings are going to attack humanity. That is their end game. That is what it is all about. When in fact, it is not. It is a deception piece to make people more able to side with the governments, saying, we are going to attack these things as a defense maneuver. We are going to protect this earth at any cost against any threat, domestic or foreign, or even in space. Now we are seeing that the president, Donald Trump, his first term, initiated the Space Force to protect our planet from domestic, foreign threats, or even universal threats. Why would a president not give people the whole theory of why make a space force if we haven't even traveled or been able to go to space freely, and we're barely going back to the moon now? It opened up another can of worms into this rabbit hole theory of maybe there's something else, a secret space program like these whistleblowers have been talking about um, for so long, saying that it has been going on since the 50s. Maybe we have been in space. Maybe there are bases on the moon, as some astronauts and some NASA theorists have speculated. That when you look at some of the photographs and you look at some of the video and the imagery of these lunar surfaces, that when you look at the lunar surfaces, there are hidden objects that have either been uh, altered in some way, that are deliberately altered to hide objects either in the foreground where you see uh, black sky, or black, the black universe, the endless emptiness of space behind these astronauts as they're walking on the surface of the moon. But when you get the resolutions and you manipulate the resolutions on Adobe, you start seeing structures in the back foregrounds of these photos. And like I said, am I an expert on this? No. But the people who are working on these projects are experts. And for them to tell somebody, well, there's something in this foreground that we're seeing, or there's things that are on the surface of the moon, even the pictures of the moon, when the astronauts are, you listen to the radios, the return that they're giving to Houston, and they're telling them, The surface of the moon is colorless. Um, it's like plaster, mix. It's just powder dust. It's gray. It's colorless. But when you look at the pictures and you alter the pictures on Adobe or other computer software programs, you see these beautiful pictures around craters or certain structural anomalies that are on the surface of the moon. And this is the true visuals that they're saying that were being hidden by NASA and the government to deceive people into thinking that this moon, this lifeless orbiting satellite in our orbit is just, it's been here. It's actually what has caused it's a part of an old planet that just formed in our gravitational pull, and it came and it broke off and it's just orbiting around the earth. They even stated that the testing that they did from some of the rocks that they got off of the moon's surface are actually older than what they thought they were. So this whole notion that the Earth was formed, or the moon is a satellite that was forming life on Earth, is the theory is just thrown out the window, because now we are seeing that the moon itself is a lot older than the Earth. So if oh man, I got my cousins calling in right now. Um, we are seeing that even when it was stating that um, the moon cover up, Executive Order 1051, which gives the government power to execute non-releasing of any information. It pretty much gives them complete authority to say, we are not going to release anything to the public that we don't need to. It pretty much authorizes them and gives them a free check to cover up, distort, lie, and deceive the public about any information that comes out about any of the space program. And it is called Executive Order 1051. They are not authorized to release anything to the public under this executive order. It pretty much gives them a slate to say, you know what? We're not going to tell them about it because we don't have to, unless they deem it necessary to do so, which I hope that we get to see in our lifetime. And going back to Dr. Carol Rosen, that worked with Werner von Braun, he told her that we are going to see a deception phase of the government manipulating and hiding the facts from humanity by deception. And it was going to be in stages. The first stage that they said they were going to be doing it was going to make Russia the threat. Uh, they were going to make Russia, the communist state, the communist party, a threat to humanity, a threat to the world. It was going to be a diversion where it was going to build the characterization up of deception to lead us away or into what is going to follow later on. The second thing that was going to happen was going to be the labeling of global terrorists, terrorists that were going to be a threat to human society, that were going to bring a level of threat to humankind to step up what we started seeing in Vietnam, we started seeing in the Cold War, we started seeing in the 80s and the 90s with the rise of Al Qaeda, and now ISIS after 9/11 terrorist attack, and the opening up of the Patriot Act to give the government full access and free roam through data of collecting information on everybody without your knowledge, without your say so, because it was in a act of national security. The third thing they were going to talk about is these third world crazies, these uh, countries or these states that were going to be seen as radicalists, that were going to be seen as these threats of global human chaotic symbols, threats to humanity, um, like we are seeing now in Syria and Lebanon. And we are going to start seeing in Israel and Palestine and the threat of Iran. And this is something that has been in the works for a long time. And Werner von Braun is saying that they have laid out these levels of threats that are going to lead to what we are seeing now. What is something that has happened in the past few months that has seemed so outrageous that we never thought what is going to happen? Drones. Where are they coming from? How in the hell are we not stopping them? Why are they not being shot down? If the government knows what they are and they are worried about security threats, why is nothing being happened? Why is nothing being done? Because it is another part of the threat level. False threats by false uh um yeah, I do watch Gaia. um Gabriel just messaged me on Facebook. Gabe, thank you, I appreciate it. We are seeing a lot of the information that comes through Gaia. I will say that some of it is kind of, yeah, misleading in a way where it's kind of like you got to really pick and choose to see what the credibility of a lot of these people are. Like David Wilcox, I used to watch him a lot. He is one of the guys that um, I started getting into because of the people that he brought forward through the communities of whistleblowers. And he ended up leaving the station because they were trying to manipulate him and tell him, "Yo, well, that's getting too far. You need to start scripting it down." And he's like, "No, I'm not going to do that." And he broke away from them and did his own thing. And I give him all the praise for doing that. Excuse me. Um, and yeah, I mean, going back into this threat level, what is another thing that they are talking about? And this is one, two, three. This is the fourth jump um, after the third one, which is world crazies or nations that are of concern, which we are seeing is what? Syria, China, Palestine, Iran. The fourth thing is going to be the threat of an asteroid. What are we seeing them talking about? Little snippets. Oh, there's this big asteroid that is going to come, and it is going to near miss the world. That could be a global killer, that could destroy all of civilization as we know it. And it is not something that we have seen in like the past 66 million years or whatever it is. Um, this is something that he, meaning Dr. Werner von Braun, laid out of the threats that they are going to place out into society to be able to usher in the final and last card, which is the extraterrestrial threat, the threat of a imminent deception, uh, threat from an outside source in the universe, extraterrestrials that are going to come and wipe out humanity, that are going to make themselves known and present themselves, and are just going to start decimating people across the globe. And his response to her was, "It is coming. This is not me just telling you, oh, okay, this is a plan that they're going to, no, they're implementing this, and this is what is going to happen. Watch out for the signs. When you see it start falling into these stages, the last card is going to be the threat of extraterrestrials from an outside global threat, whatever it may be, whether it's the Greys, the Talls, the Reptilians, whatever, extraterrestrials, whatever they are. We are seeing a lot of ramping up of these UAPs. We are seeing a ramp up of these UFO, these aerial phenomena that we are being able to capture or seeing across the globe, being posted to social media platforms all over, from all over the world. It has become so much more ramped up now than it has ever been in history's past. Um, and it's like, is this the deception key? Is this the threat that we have been warned about by from Werner von Braun about this threat from our own agencies, our own government entities that are actually possibly behind all of this? We now know that the government has been reverse engineering flying objects and has been um, reverse engineering these craft and these propulsion possibilities for years now. And to say that they have not perfected it would be a lie. We were just talking about this, like I said, on Elko Ellie's radio station this morning. I brought up the whole thing of Bob Lazar. Bob Lazar was a whistleblower who was famous for coming out in the 80s and blowing the top off of Area 51 and stating about the reverse engineering project that he was on, and the description of watching and the elements of the reactor and how these craft were being powered and actually seeing them in action and in flight and how they were able to maneuver. And he would actually take his friends out to the sand dunes and watch them at certain times flying these craft around. And he had gotten busted. He had gotten busted by the military, and they gave him a chance, and they told him, "Look, man, you're playing with fire here. You know what you guys are seeing is nothing. Okay, it is just top secret government airplanes that they are working on." And he was allowed to continue his work, but he ended up leaving because he knew that what he was witnessing was something that was so mind-boggling, that he was working on craft that was being piloted by visitors from other galaxies, from other worlds, from other civilizations. He touched it. He was feeling it. He was working on the reactor cores that powered these craft, and he figured out how they were able to maneuver and manipulate the space around the ships to travel at high speeds without killing people inside. It was a gravitational warp drive. And as I said, this was something that caused him to come out and say, "Hey, we need to talk about this. People need to be made aware of this." And the element that he had presented to people and was telling them, this is what will power this craft. This element will power an entire city for thousands of years. It is that powerful. Now, if you look at brand new periodic tables, the element that he was discussing is actually now on our periodic chart. It is element 115. It is the element that is now known to scientists to hold a special power surge to be able to power and create a substantial amount of energy, that if we were to harness it, we could possibly power our own ships to travel through other solar systems. We now know that Russia has the capabilities of these hyperdrive engines. China has presented these hyperdrive engines. Um, there are some engines that have been replicated that Tesla, um, Elon Musk is saying that they are working on now, that are going to be able to power us and get us to Mars, not in years, but months. And going back to episode 41, where I was talking about John Jacob Astor and the significance and the correlation between the two, is that in his book, A Journey to Other Worlds, he talks about this precisely to the T. And he even gives the name of the element. I think it's called vibranium. Vibranium. And he talks about the scientist who is perfecting these powered engines that run off of this element that are able to produce anti-gravity states of matter to propel man, I'm so tongue twisted right now, to be able to propel these craft and fly them through space. Mind you, this book came out in 1896. This man, John Jacob Astor, wrote this book. Look at the episode that I had before this one right now, John Jacob Astor and his link to Tartaria and the correlation between ancient technologies and the possibility that everything that we now know of as new technology has been done in past cultures and past civilizations. It is just we now are being able to adapt it to our life and being able to say, oh, this is new stuff. This is new technologies. We have cell phones. We have TVs. We have, smartwatches. We have the ability to speak and talk over wireless communication. But in fact, if you read that book, John Jacob Astor himself talks about those very things and the way it's done. Mind blowing, rabbit hole stuff. Like I said, if you go down these rabbit holes, it will very often it'll branch into other things. Unfortunately, John Jacob Astor, as we know, he was a billionaire at his time. He was one of the wealthiest men of his era. He was a veteran. He was actually a part of the Freemasons. He was a master mason. So he was privy to probably some understanding and knowledge that was probably not something that normal society would be aware of, which is probably why at the time he was uh, presented by these oligarchs at the time. You know, you had the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and J.P. Morgans and these other prominent bankers that were trying to unify the wealth of the world and get them on board with changing the society of the time to become governed and centralized, that they would control everything all the way down to our education system, our medical system, our banking system, our forms of government, and how the government institutions were going to be run. And he shut them down. He told them, no, I do not want to have any part of this. Um, he was one of few people who actually stood their ground and said, this is not going to benefit humankind. I do not want to have anything to do with it. Nikola Tesla was one of them. And luckily for him, he did not um, go against the grain, so to say. All of his inventions and his ideas were either freely given to these other to people like Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison ripped the man off countless times. He was never made wealthy like a lot of these other people were because he did not see the benefit of becoming rich if society was not going to benefit from something that should be able to help and sustain mankind. So he died penniless and alone in his hotel room at the age, I think, of 72 to 78. And all his information that he had locked up in the hotel safe, his notes on everything from free energy, gravitational fields, to time travel, to the ability to bend time and space and be multidimensional. The whole thing about multi-dimensions. He was one of the men who pioneered that, but was never given credit for it. His information was taken by none other than one of the members of Trump's family, John Trump, his uncle, who was who was an engineer working for the government at the time. The paperwork was actually given to him. It was confiscated by the FBI and the CIA, and they got it out to him. He got all the notes, and uh, you know, apparently he was able to work out a lot of the mathematical factors that Tesla had done in his research and reverse engineer this stuff. And another theory that goes along with that, that shows that, is that you have a book that was written in the late 1800s called 1900 or The Last President. Now, this book, in theory, goes into a prominent wealthy businessman who is known by the name of the Don and who lives in New York City, is a very, very wealthy businessman who makes his money off of real estate uh, uh, and construction and building of skyscrapers in New York. And he sees that the state of the country is in peril, and due to him having a patriotic heart, says, I need to do something about this. I'm going to run for president. Now, he presents this theory, or this notion of him running for president, to fellow businessmen and the societies that in his circle that he is in. And they warn him and they tell him, you're not going to make it. You do not know anything about politics. You are not even a politician. You do not have the know how or the capability to even run for office. You are going to fail. You're never going to make it. And he tells them, well, I'm going to show you, because it is not my knowledge of of politics. It is my love of this country and me being a businessman, being able to do better for this country. I'm going to run. What does he do? He runs for president. Through his whole time, he gets slandered. It even talks about him almost being killed. He his address of his living, where he lives at in the book, is the same place of Trump Tower in New York, if you want to believe that. And he becomes the president. He wins the race. He leads the country to this golden age of a new era for America. And as I said, look it up for yourself, read the book. It is on audio, Audible. You can look it up on Spotify as well. You can also look it up on YouTube. I believe it is on there. Um, this is just one of many other series. I think there's two other books, The Marvelous Underground Adventures of Baron Trump. What is this book about? It is about a young man who is brought up in a wealthy, aristocratic family, who was born in, if you can believe it, the same place where he was born to his mother's home country. He is raised to be knowledgeable in a lot of things, in mathematics and science and politics and the wealthy, prominent figures of his time. And he is raised by a man who is called none other than the Don, who shows him how to be mystical and tells him the secrets of life, and gives him instruction on these marvelous other worlds that are out there. And this child, Baron Trump, goes on these adventures underground, through time, through these other civilizations, and experiences these things. I kid you not. It is mind blowing. So it makes you go back to his uncle, John Trump. Did John Trump actually create a time machine that allowed his family members to go back in time, write the prominence of his family, set up a life and legacy for his nephew, Donald Trump, who was in fact going to be known as the last president, and have a son that was named Baron Trump? I don't know. As I said, I'm just presenting the information. You can go out and look it up for yourself. There are a lot of figures who have come out and said that the head agencies of the world, the one percenters, the ones who are in the know and have stated that President Trump does know more than what he is telling everybody. He is just not putting out his full deck of cards for everybody to see it. The man is making steps of revealing and declassifying and making knowledge available to people at a steady pace to where it is being done so that way society is not being overloaded with this information that is going to cause people to either disbelieve or is going to cause them to say, this is a load of horse shit. This is not real. We know that we can fake this. Is that possible? Yes. Have we been deceived? Yes, a lot of times. I'll give you an example. The last episode season of the X Files, I think it was season 10, when they came back after the 1990s episodes. And they came out with like I think it was like a 10 or 11 episode season. In this last season before this new one is going to come out, they talk about exactly what is happening. The government is reverse engineering these UFO spacecrafts, these UAVs, the famous triangle, the black triangle UFO that a lot of people have seen is actually a military reverse engineered craft that they are staging abduction scenarios in order to alter human DNA with alien DNA. What did we just have happened a few years ago? COVID. Nobody knew. They're passing out these shots that we have no idea what is in them. It is just, we got to get these people out, get these shots out to everybody. And if you don't have it, you're going to go to jail. You're going to have repercussions. People lost their jobs. People lost family members. People lost their businesses. People lost their way of life. We are definitely not the same that we were before this COVID lie epidemic. Is that, or could that have been a way for them to use this shot as a way of altering human DNA? Test subjects. Look at the countless thousands of people who died leading up to the years, the following years of us understanding what was actually going on. I mean, for Christ's sake, people weren't even allowed to take their family members away to have them buried. The bodies had to what? Be burned. What better way for them to cover their tracks? What better way for them to look at everything and say, we can do this. We can manipulate the system to make it look like this virus. We can implement a genetic altering shot to manipulate people's DNA, because we are now seeing that the repercussions of a lot of people who were getting that shot are falling ill. They are coming up with illnesses. There has been manipulations of their DNA and their blood strands. They are having side effects of tremendous repercussions to their health, to their children's health. And there is no way of reversing it. The damage has been done. And I speak of this because there are a lot of people who are anti-jabbers. And they said, well, I'm not getting it. Here we are 6 years after, and we're still alive and breathing. Explain that to me. If people don't understand that, like I said, I'm not telling people not to do what they want to do with their body. By all means, let the government experiment on you all you want. But when you look at what they were telling people, we should have been dead. We should not be walking around. I should not be sitting here talking to you. I should not be having this conversation right now. But here I am. And so many of us that did not get it are walking around, and we are alive today. And the information that has come out that this was actually a manipulation to the public, and this is coming straight from the government. There are a lot of people who are standing their ground now and are calling for action. Is what we saw a manipulation through extraterrestrial DNA? Is there something that has gone into people's bloodstream that has altered them, has altered their genes, that have gone on? These people probably had children. Their children are probably not the same. There are a lot of cases that have led to say, yeah, yes, this is something that has happened. As I said, I am, on this podcast, I am not here to tell people this is what you got to do, this is how you got to live your life. By all means, all I'm here to do is just give out the information. Please do your own due diligence and research it for yourself. Um, so going back into the multidimensional beings, this morning, as I said, on Elko Ellie's coffee shop show, um, um, we had a good discussion about these multidimensional beings that we know of, these cryptids, Bigfoot being one of them. Um, what do we know of these multidimensional beings? There have been native lore, there has been Aboriginal lore, there has been Native American lore, there's been African lore, there's been Asian lore. Anywhere you go in cultures, they talk of these beings that are able to use portals to walk between dimensions. I mean, for Christ's sake, even in South America, there's a big portal that they talk about, that um, um, when the Incas were being invaded by the Spaniards, the chief had an amulet that he would put into the middle, that there is actually still an indentation where something should have gone. It was a portal, a Stargate key. He would put it in there, and this gate would open up, and he would walk through, or these beings would walk out of it. And not only do we see that there, we see it in Egypt. We see it in Asia. We see it in Africa. We see it in Europe, Stonehenge. We see these gateways of these energy fields, or these resonant fields of these places where these monuments are seem to be built on these ley lines that have a significant um, meaning to these ancient cultures. And as I said before, they speak of these beings coming to them and giving them this knowledge of how to build these structures, or how to build these gateways, or how to manipulate these force fields in order to be multidimensional, to allow these beings from other worlds to come through, or to give people the opportunity to leave and go through these portals to other dimensions. Um, and we are seeing this fruition of scientists, prominent scientist figures, who are actually stating to this day that there are at least 11 dimensions that they know of, that they are aware of, that are being manipulated with in a way that they know that on this timeline that we are on, there are at least other 11 of us somewhere else. It's called a multiverse, which, if you comic heroes and comic buffs, if you love watching Marvel and DC, you know that they touch on that a lot, about multiverse. There are other dimensions of these selves that are in these other dimensions that are living lives, and we all have a connection to each other somehow. Which is why you get the thought of deja vu, or you get a feeling of, man, I've seen this, or I felt this before, or that cold shiver of somebody walking over your grave, or the imminent danger of something, threat of something happening to you, a premonition, if you will. It is a foresight from these other dimensions in another life that you are living, uh, that you're connected to. So, the going back to these multidimensional beings, Bigfoots, skinwalkers, um, what else is there? You have these rakes that seem to be in certain areas of the world, that people have seen these beings that are dressed in silver suits. that are tunnel dwellers that live underneath cities in London or in the East Coast, or have been seen on university campuses. You have these creatures. This is another subject that I'm going to probably get into later on in another episode of why are national parks. If you take a national park map and you see the number of missing people that go missing in national parks, and you take a map of underground tunnel systems and you overlap them, they seem to correlate with each other 100%. You have incidences of people that go into national parks and they go missing. They're gone, or they are seen and they are gone, and they are found miles and miles of way away over terrain that they should not have been able to get through in harsh elements and in harsh environments. And even to the point where they are found without clothes. You have the Dutloff Pass incident that was recorded in Russia and the Soviet Union, of the students who went to Dutloff Pass to do a research project for a university. They were, I believe it was, don't quote me on this. Like I said, I'm just going off of the hip here because I don't have all my computer systems with me. They are going to do research on this area of Dutloff Pass where they um, have been experiencing this phenomena in the village, surrounding villages, of these lights, seeing these things in the sky, and hearing these strange noises that are coming from this area of the region. And these people are found later on in their expedition after not calling back or being heard from. A search party has gone out to go find them, and the way they are being seen or found is in a way or a manner that is so horrific that it boggles the mind that somebody would be out of their tent. It seems that somebody was tearing through the tent from the outside. They were walking through harsh climates, cold, bitter climates, with no clothes on, barefooted, in the elements. Some people were said to have been had their tongues were missing. Their bodies were divulged of any liquids or fluids that were inside of them. Some of their organs or their bones were crushed inside of their body, but no outside bruising was seen on their flesh, as you would see somebody who had been uh, succumbed to blunt force trauma. It seemed like something had done something to them and was able to reach into side of their hearts and just crush it without causing damage to any of the other area around in the body, or causing organ failure to happen without any extreme or extremities being damaged or touched. It baffles the mind. What happened to these people? What caused this to happen? Did they find something? Is there something that is up there? Theorists state that the government there probably was researching or doing experiments on things that had to do with either extraterrestrial knowledge or technologies, and they happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. As I said, these are theories, but the evidence in and of itself makes you question or has you thinking what was really going on. And you have people around the world that go missing in these national parks, that go missing, vanishing. Hey, I'm going to be right back. I'm just going to go up the trail a little bit. Never seen from again. It's like they just stepped off into nowhere. And later on, they are either found, like I said, miles away, after search parties have, searched these areas relentlessly for days, and the search was called off. And just as they are about to call it off, they are found in an area that was already searched. I mean, people have been found where their clothes are laid nice and neatly on rocks, or their shoes are found and their clothes are found without any damage or being any evidence of um, the elements getting to them, or a animal tearing the body up, ripping through the clothes. That they were walking with their shoes and just took them off and laid them there and went walking. And this has happened throughout years and years and years. If anybody wants to look that up, I would highly suggest you look into 411, the missing 411. It is about a detective who has um, got a organization together to do research on people who have gone missing, because he found out that when you look for missing people, there was no database, there was nothing to look into other things with and compare it to. So he started gathering in the information, and talking to witnesses and talking to park rangers, and gathering all the information that he could on all these people that were going missing in these areas, to collect a database, not only just for the family members, but for putting together a puzzle piece of missing people that go disappearing in these areas of the United States, and throughout the world for that matter. Um, uh, as I said before, if you guys are on X, I know I'm going off on the hinge here and I'm just talking, but if you guys have questions, or there is something that you would like to discuss, or anything that you have insights into, please feel free to join in the chat. Let me know what you guys have thoughts on. I'm gonna get on here on YouTube real quick. Let me know your guys' thoughts. Let me know what you guys are thinking, because like I said, I mean, this is something that has always fascinated me and has always been at the forefront of my thought um, process of research. Because I mean, I've always wanted to uh, learn more about this and get into this, um, and do my own research on the subject matter that I'm talking about with you guys today. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. And let's have a good conversation. I mean, I wish that I had the ability to um get my stuff up and running, because it sucks that I'm not able to do that. Um get off that. We are on X. Let me try and get back on Facebook and see if I can talk to you guys on there. If I'm able to do that, then right on, we'll be able to do that, because I know a lot of people are on that platform right now, and that's one of the ways I conversate with a lot of people when I had my abilities to do so on my laptop. And again, it is not allowing me to do that for some reason. It is showing that I'm live, but it's not allowing me to do it. Here we go. All right, cool. Nope, that is not it. All right. Well, like I said, I am on YouTube and I am on X. So if you guys want to, I will be on there. You guys can drop your comments in there. Um, I wish I could get it to where, you know what? Let me go on here real quick. Let me see if I can just get on my studio restream real quick. Because if I can, then I'll just switch up and then hopefully it'll work on here. Would you be good? Because then we can talk and I could bring people on that want to come on. All right, enter. Let me try this. Go to design, go to people. Let me, all right, there it is. All right. Mm, get off of there, there. All right. Let me see if this will work. Because if it does, kudos. All right. Let me see. Let me stop the camera if it will let me. If you guys, I will be coming right back on because, wow, that is really dark. Let me see. As bright as it can get, I guess. Okay. All right. So I'm not even going to mess with it. If you guys want to join, I'm going to copy it and I'm going to place it on YouTube. And if you guys are on YouTube, please feel free to go on there. I'll place it on Facebook. You guys can go on there. Um, Here we go. We're on YouTube. I'm going to place it on here and hopefully you guys will be able to join me. Um, all right. Scott Bratz, what's up? How you doing? Hey, Elko Ellie, you're on. Super stoked. Uh, Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys' support. Um, Scott Bratz said, you're talking about a lot of pretty interesting stuff, brother. Lots of other peeps also convoying about similar things. As far as live convo goes, pretty much just he said TT, but yeah, Discord's another. Don't know. Yeah, I appreciate you, bro. I'm just gonna keep going. I gotta, I got a little bit of time here. I got about 30 minutes, and then I'll wrap it up. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for showing me love and you fellow enthusiasts who are out there doing your research and helping to get the word out. I appreciate you guys so much. It is just so, I don't want to say overwhelming, but it feels good to know that a lot of us are not alone, that there are fellow people who believe in, who are at that level of vibration. You know, Ellie, we talked about this, about that being on that vibration, and that movie They Live. People will see when they are ready to see. They will understand when they're ready to understand. They will get it when they're ready to get it. There was a video that somebody had said that when you are chosen and you put the goggles on and you see things for what they are, you can't unsee it. You can't take them off. You can't say, okay, wait a minute, I don't want to know this anymore. Once you make that choice to see this, to walk this life and to walk this path, it is your destiny to do so because you are destined to be able to do that. Hey, baby girl, my daughter Isabel's on. I love you. She said there was a huge rocket that was launched, but there was no rocket launch announced to the public. It was a weird, nothing that I'd ever seen or found in my life on the planet. But also, why are we here? It makes you think. Yeah, that's true. Um, um, yeah, Facebook Live Scubrats says that Facebook Live. I haven't ever seen any of them though. You do chilling for sure. TikTokers, that is, just come across troubled minds, brother, on here recently. Yeah. Like I said, I just I don't socialize on TikTok. I just post the videos on there and I put them up there so that way If people come across it, it's just another platform to get the information out there. um, but like I said, for sure, I appreciate everybody. Get the word out there. Like the channel, subscribe to it, share it on your platforms, share it with other people. Let them know Fridays at 7 o'clock we will be on here. We will have discussions. Hopefully, I will be able to have a laptop where I will be able to do this and be able to have the whole setup where I can get everything going. Um, as I stated before, it's just right now I'm going through a moving transition, so um I'm in the process of getting all kinds of other stuff taken care of. But yeah, I'm going to continue to do this. And keep pushing forward and get the information out there, and just do your own diligence, do your own research, look into these subject matters yourself. Don't just take what I'm telling you to heart and say that I'm telling you that this is truth. I'm just telling you that the information out there is leading to something that is giving us more knowledge and more insight into things that have been hidden from us for so long. But many of us have known that there is something that has been going on behind the scenes. And that is what um, the doing your own research and your own due diligence and looking at this information for yourself is going to do, is benefit yourself and elevate yourself to that vibration where you are able to see things and understand things on that level where you are not down here, where you're not looking at everything and you just see things for the blindness of the reality that has been told to us for our whole lives and our past generations. It is that reverberation through our bloodline of awakening and saying, hey, wake up, know who you are, know where we come from, know what is real, that we are all starting to collectively become aware of what it is and what we are destined for and what we are meant for on this plane of existence. So with that, like I said, I appreciate everybody for coming along on this journey. It's amazing. We are going to continue this. Let me close this. Um, Let me see. I don't know why this thing opened. Open that up. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Don't need it. All right. Yeah, I got the app open. It's not allowing me to switch up because I'm already live on my phone and I've already got you guys on here with me. So I'm gonna keep that going because like I said, I'm only gonna be on here for about another 20, 30 minutes. Um, and if you guys want to conversate, please, get on YouTube, um, get on Facebook. If you can comment, or if you are seeing it on Facebook, it's showing that I'm live on Facebook right now, but I'm not able to see it on my end. Um, we are conversating on YouTube right now. So if you have not gotten on YouTube and you want to talk or you want to say something, please feel free to go on there. Um, um, yeah, my daughter stated that, it's like putting puzzle pieces together and making everything make sense. That is exactly correct. It's like I stated earlier on Elko Ellie's radio station, was that um, we get this knowledge or this information, and it resonates with a lot of people. It makes you think, what is, for a lot of us, it's like there's more to this story. There's got to be something else that is driving humanity, that is pushing us to elevate ourselves, that is um, uh, wanting us to progress ourselves more, not only with just knowledge, but spiritually insightfulness, and elevate ourselves to be um, where we need to be at, not just for each other, but for this planet. And not only just for this planet, but to convey this to these beings who are watching us and have been watching us for so long. And it is not time for them to be able to make their presence known. Um, Reason being is because we're still down here and we have not collectively said we need to make a change together. We need to do this together. We can only make this place and make humanity better by collectively doing it as one. And once we start making that change, once we start doing that, TT, TikTok, you need to have so many followers for you to be able to speak. I think it's only 200, 250 peeps now. So as opposed to um, others that I started a few years ago. Yeah, that's true. I know on TikTok, I think on mine, I'm able to do live broadcastings. Um, but it was only after a certain period or a certain time that I was able to be able, open up that possibility to have that happen. But yeah, I mean, uh, I use Restream to broadcast this out to all the platforms. It allows me to log into all of my accounts and stream it all at one time. So that's how I'm able to go ahead and just put it across the board, um, live time, and just have everybody see it. And you can also go back and revisit the episodes later on the channel, because I will put them in the playlists for YouTube. You'll find it on the page, Secret of the Unknown, but it will say podcast. And you look in the podcast, and all the videos will come up in numerical order. It's been a while, so I haven't done it. Like I said, being busy with other things and taking care of other things, I haven't had the time to go in there and actually add the newer ones. But you can go in there and see it because of the dating. So yeah, with that, like I said, please get on the page, ask questions. If there's something that you want to talk about on the podcast and you're like, hey, on your next podcast, it would be interesting for us to talk into this. What do you think about it? These are my thoughts about it. We can have that conversation, because then I can go, hey, so and so or this group wanted to know about this, and we're going to have this discussion about this and bring out information that I will look into and present it with everybody, and we can go off of that. Or we can have a conversation piece where, if somebody Ellie, if you would like to come on and you would like to say, hey, I would like to join you on one of your episodes this day, let's talk about this. We can do that. We can have those conversations, and we can have um, that time to just share and put out information as a collective together. I'm not sure how many people I can have on here. I think it's up to 7 people at once. I know, like you were saying on your show this morning, depending on the bandwidth, if it starts getting really laggy, we can just cut it to just audio and just go that route. But please, everybody and anybody, I mean, I'm getting a lot of people that are tuning in and joining in from other countries. Hopefully this will translate to your language. If not, please find a translator to have them go over it with you. Um, Hopefully the platforms will be able to do that, and you will be able to enjoy the conversations that we are all able to do in English. I am sorry that if it does not, I will look into that most definitely, and make some inquiries as to doing uh, that upgrade, or whatever I have to do to make that work. So we'll definitely look into that. All right, let me where did it go? Let me get off of that. Facebook. Let me go back on Facebook and see if it's gone through. I don't know what the deal is and what's going on with it, but like I said, uh, yeah, 210 people have gone to the site, but as I said, it is not allowing me to go live. Why? Um, Let me actually look on here on my channels real quick and make sure. Because if I can't get on here, I'm going to probably just open up my home page. Aha, unable to connect TikTok. That's why it didn't go through. Uh-huh. Let's see here. So there. Uh, Scare the unknown, Facebook, there, and mine. All right. So I think that's why is because it's only allowing um X, Facebook, Seeker of the Unknown, my page, and the YouTube channel to stream it live. But I just jumped onto my page to see if it will go through. Hopefully it does. If it does not, then we will figure it out next time. But let's do this. All right, go back. Um, Thought I had the Facebook app on here, but I guess not. Anyway, like I said, I mean, I just got a wrench thrown into the works earlier, so I started late, and it was um, something that I had to jump through hoops to get working because obviously, as you can see, I'm still trying to mess with this stuff. Um, why it is not allowing me? Wow, that is really weird. Yeah, this is crazy. Hmm, this is weird. What is going on? Anyway, so with everybody that has joined me, I appreciate you guys' insight. I appreciate your guys' input. Thank you guys. Um, Scubrat says, as far as everyone getting on the same page, personally, that's going to be an infinite process, I believe, as we have brothers and sisters passing in just as new editions of the newest generation are continually being born. True that. I totally agree with you. And that is one thing that we have to do as a generation that has been here for a few minutes is pretty much educate the youngins and let them understand or try and make them see that everything that they are seeing or that they are experiencing because they have not gone through a lot of the things that we have experienced from our generation. If you were born in the 70s, my generation, and you grew up seeing things, you remember a lot of things that a lot of these children, in the 90s, even in the 2000s, they're never ever going to know what happened. They're never going to experience it. And that is what it has happened through generations. We do not know the experiences of these past civilizations. So we are only being told what was based on what the victors or the one percenters or the ones who are in control are allowing us to understand and allowing us to see and allowing us to experience through their histories or oral traditions or written narratives that have been passed down through time. So it is our job to educate these young minds or these young persons. Everything. Do not forget who you are. We are so much more than what we are being told. We are so much more than what we are being allowed to be. And to share with them, to be able to look into history, to do your research. Technology is a fabulous thing, but a library is even more fascinating because you have hard evidence, you have hard concrete texts, you have hard concrete information of knowledge in museums. The Smithsonian Institute, as much as I like to say that it would be nice to have them be a force of betterment for human society, they are sitting on treasure troves of information that we could probably not even fathom. And they have been locking it under, uh, 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 putting it under lock and key, as well as the Vatican. The Vatican has archives, treasure troves, miles and miles and miles of information that they have hidden from society, from humankind. And will they ever release it? Probably not. Will we ever see the light of day? I hope it does. I really do. But until that day comes, we have to keep digging. We have to keep researching. We have to keep putting out that information for this younger generation to be able to um, say, hey, look, there is more to this life and more to the possibilities of humankind, and what we are being given and what we are being told, that we need to do more for our future generations. And hopefully it gets better. And but it is up to us. It is up to us, the ones that are the seekers, the ones that are the knowledge um, uh, lookers, and the people who are striving to get this information out. It is up to us to be able to, we have to make it happen. We have to push this narrative for the future generations to be able to say, here is this knowledge and this information. Look into this. There is something here. Um, and it is your duty to fulfill this and to get to the bottom of this as best as you possibly can. Um, and I leave it to you, just like the generations that have gone before us have done, ancient societies, ancient cultures, ancient civilizations that have left us footprints, remnants of a past that was rich in history, rich in culture, rich in knowledge, rich in technology, that we are barely even touching the tip of the iceberg with the information that we have found all over the world in different continents. And we are still uncovering things that are rewriting history. And those are things that are going to progress this furthering of information declassification, and acknowledging the fact that there is a lot more than what we know. And we are not going to go away. We are not going to be dumb. We are not just going to take your word for it. We are not just going to say, yeah, you're right. That's all it is. The pyramids were just built for a tomb for a pyramid or a pharaoh. And it's not a power grid. It's not a reverberation chamber for stasis sleep for, um, you know, uh, Thoth or any of the other ancients, and why they would have these giant sarcophagus of granite that are sitting down there in this riverbed that flows underneath the pyramids. Or, Teotihuacan, that there's this ancient structure that's there that is replicant of these sites that you see in Egypt or in Asia or in America for that fact. Um, there are hidden symbols all over the world. And for the people that are out there that have the resource capability of going out and field researching this stuff, Graham Hancock, um, uh, David Wilcox, um, you know, um, uh, I'm so dead right now. Billy Carson, Greg Braden, all these great minds that have gotten this information out to the public. Matthew LaCroix, that have put this information on Gaia, you know, um, them putting this information out there and being able to share with everybody, to have people look into this stuff, is what makes a difference. But we have to collectively do this. We have to, together as a human collective, say that we are better than what we are. We are better than what our predecessors have given us. We need to rise above this pettiness of war and depleting our earth of its resources when we can collectively come together and raise our human vibrations and say that we are all collectively one. We are all put here on this earth to be here for a purpose and to do what we need to do together to better societies across the world, to better humanity across the world, to stop the the petty squabbling and the differences and say that you're no better than I am and you're going to die just like I am, but if we're going to do this we need to do this together and put our differences aside and help societies out and stop this killing of other people. Stop fighting over resources that are abundant enough on this planet that we can all survive in harmony. We can do it. There is hope for peace. There is hope for unification. There is hope for a better outcome for our children. And I posted a video on Facebook where this young girl says, you know, where's your sense of urgency? You are telling us that we need to be better. That when differences arise, we need to talk about them. We need to put away our petty differences, and we need to see the better in other people. And now, being an adult, you are doing exactly the opposite of what you have always told us as children to do. I may be a child, but I see that the path that we are heading on is not the path that we are being told that is out there. We are told that it's not okay to see differences in people. It is not okay to see people as a race or a color, but we segregate ourselves based on what people have done up here by putting those labels on people and continually continue to push these narratives. It needs to stop. We need to stop with the warmongering. We need to stop with the completely decimating of other cultures and civilizations. While we are sitting here getting fat off the calf, other people are starving when there is no need for people to be starving on this planet, period. There is no need for us to be killing this planet. We should be taking care of it and doing everything we can to use the resources that were given to us and put on this planet for us to survive. So I hope that we can all spread that word and that message together collectively and do what we have to better ourselves, to better human society, and to say, let's stand together and let's just make this happen as one. Realize that we are all going to leave this place and return to the greater universe where which we came from, and to better make this place something inhabitable for our future generations. We need to make the change now, and we need to make it happen quickly, and we need to stop being slaves to the system. We need to break free of the matrix. And what we are doing now, coming together and putting this information out, is something that is going to make that happen. But we cannot do it if we keep squabbling and bumping heads with each other and fighting over religions and fighting over lands and fighting over ideas. That is not going to further progress us as a whole. So, with that, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's come out. This has been Seeker of the Unknown. My name is Raul. I appreciate everybody for coming out and joining me on this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I did a rant and rave off of the whim, off a little bit of notes that I had, because, like I said, my computer went down. So I hope that everybody had a blast. Thank you guys for commenting and for being here. I appreciate you. Many blessings. Everybody have a safe and prosperous weekend. I hope to see everybody here next week. And again, if you can, do a big favor, like and subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that share button, get the word out. Be a seeker. Do not just take everybody's word for it. Find your knowledge, find your information, dive into those rabbit holes, and go head first. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. But those who are not ready for this, uh, I understand it is not for everybody, and some of us are going to take a little bit longer to break that cycle, break that chain of mentality of being held in this matrix state of mind. So with that, I just want to say thank you again. Many blessings. Hope to see you guys next week. And it was great. I'll see you again. This has been Secret of the Unknown. Have a great one.